Hey, welcome back. This is HEARTTHROB and we are live for some new Reddit stories. Okay, so let's start in the Am I the Asshole subreddit. We're starting off with our first one by Distinguished Sloth. Now, am I the asshole for getting mad at my boyfriend for mocking my past music taste and threatening to break up? Okay, so far, what are my thoughts about this? I don't really like mockery. A few days ago, my boyfriend, 24 male, and I, 21 female, were sitting in our room while he was scrolling through Instagram. He started laughing at a particular post and kept laughing for a while. When he showed it to me, it was an account making fun of people who listen to BTS and K-pop. I laughed a little too, and then he said, if someone close to me ever did that, I'd be so embarrassed. I'd rather die. I distanced myself from them and never talked to them again. Bro. That's a little, extreme. It's a little extreme, but okay. I laughed because he was joking, and I mentioned that I had gone through that phase too. And if he would do the same to me, jokingly, which he could have replied with no, or joked along, but instead, he stopped laughing and started lecturing me, and also said along the lines of, thank God I wasn't with you when you were that weird. Okay. First of all, Vinyl, stop playing. I mean, it's not really playing anything anyway. But hold the phone. Okay, let's just say K-pop and BTS, which is K-pop, isn't weird. I mean, I'm not a fan. But that doesn't mean that I think it's weird or that it is weird. It's just, like pop music in South Korea. I'm not particularly the biggest fan of it. I mean, there was like this one song that I was listening to with that, when Jacksepticeye was playing that one video and he was like, oh yeah, I used to be a big fan. And there's this one song I was like, okay, I see you now. I understand a little. So like, it isn't weird, it's just a different language. I don't know where he's getting at. I got mad. So what if I listened to BTS? I asked him how that made me weird, and he really responded, who has the shit music taste and listens to a bunch of gays? And laughed. Okay, like, why would he say that to me? I was so furious, so I told him, what if I still listen to them? He replied, well, I would break up with you like any sane man would do. He was literally judging me hard and mocking me. We've dated for 2 years, and he's my first boyfriend, and he's been always so nice to me. However, I didn't like how he casually used the word break up over such a small reason. After that, I stopped talking to him because I was a sensitive person, and I am very insecure of my past, and he knows that. Yesterday we talked, and I told him this, and he said he was just joking and never intended to hurt, but also said that he regrets whatever he said to me, and apologized. Yet at the end, he said again, I was being childish over such a minor issue that day, and now I'm really confused. Am I really acting childish and weird for doing that? It's our first fight, and I'm so conflicted. I guess that last quote was like this OP is being childish. And now it's my thoughts time. To see it all in the big picture, he did apologize in the end. He shouldn't have said any of those things. He realized that now. So at least this is a man who sees the error in his ways. This is a man who sees all sides. So far, that's pretty good. But then he said OP was being childish. So I'm like, girl, you were going the right way, and now you took like 2 steps back, and now like your girlfriend is more conflicted now than ever. This is her past. These are her insecurities, that she's insecure for liking BTS and K-pop, which she shouldn't be. Like, you can enjoy whatever you want, even if I don't enjoy it. The thing is, it is a small issue that kind of just like it irked her. It's an insecurity that was triggered, and he already knows that. So I'm gonna say, in the pros and cons list, this boyfriend did 2 bad things and 2 good things. I see why she is conflicted. Honestly, this is like a pretty low blow, and then he doubled down on saying that she was childish. I say you still have the right to be upset. So I'm gonna say not the asshole here. Like, he poked and prod, he realized he erred his ways, but he's not taking full fault. He's still saying that she is childish, and I want to say that isn't childish. It is just like an insecurity, and like maybe she did like overreact a bit, and I say like maybe that's a little of her fault in this situation. But in the end of the day, who's more the asshole here? I'm just gonna say this is gonna be like, it's a toughie because everybody reacted in a iffy way. The boyfriend more, and she has the right to be upset. I feel like they could both get past this. Just like have a talk. OP needs to tell the boyfriend. I mean, you don't have to, but like I feel like OP needs to tell the boyfriend like, hey, don't tell me that I'm childish. That's demeaning. I know you apologize, but like this is a trigger for me. Like I apologize for reacting that way, but like I feel like I have the right. That is what I believe. So in conclusion, not the asshole. Ultimately. Alright, what does the comment say? Not the asshole. Your boyfriend is being bitchy and childish for no reason. Ooh, so he's the one being he is the one being childish. I forgot about that. Like, he was saying all these things, poking and prodding at her insecurity, and like, sure, yeah, she might have like reacted this way, but like, come on, dude. You knew what you were doing to your girlfriend. You are very young, and you say this is your first relationship, and it shows. He needs to be more respectful of you. Okay, I like that. Exactly, says OP. It's my first relationship, and it's been really confusing for me, and I just didn't expect this kind of reaction from him. I told him that. Thank you. And honestly, I expect any reaction from anybody these days. I swear. People are crazy these days. People are wilding. As the kids say, I don't like it when people think that their opinion about things is better than mine. That they're smarter just because they like more sophisticated stuff. It just ain't true. People who talk like that are short-sighted. And the fact that he's lecturing and mocking you are major red flags. I agree that mocking someone for their interest is disrespectful. I felt really hurt by his comments, and the fact that he started lecturing me only made it worse. I'll definitely keep an eye out for these red flags. Thank you. Now, mind you, what I said about how she reacted, like, that doesn't make her equally in fault with the boyfriend. Okay, what I mean by her, like, her being a bit wrong with the trigger, like, I mean, she can't really control that, but she could learn from it. But that doesn't mean that she's, like, equally in the fault with the boyfriend at all. Like, dude, I'm starting to realize maybe it isn't like a 50-50 on pros and cons. Nothing wrong with listening to K-pop. Music is awesome. Your boyfriend is not, and no partner who cares about you would lecture you on your hobbies, past or present. Big red flag, and he's homophobic. I would kick him in the curb. You can and deserve better. If he is not gay, he can't say things are gay. That's the rule. That's the law. I'm gay. I could say things are gay. Lesbian. I could say things are gay. He can't. I am seriously considering my next steps in our relationship. I know, right? I love music, and if it is good, I couldn't hide it just because he didn't like it. I hate that he said those words and sounded homophobic. Thank you. Bro, he did not need to say gay. Just because it's from like a different culture and their form of masculinity is different to like our form of masculinity. Come on, dude. So, Reddit and I have concluded that this person is not the asshole. Alright, that was kind of short. Story 2. Next story by Green Turtle 36. Am I the asshole for getting frustrated with my fellow band members? Ooh. Discourse in the band? Oh no. I feel like that always goes badly. Like, is that why I want to be a solo artist? Alright, I'm asking this question because according to everybody else, I was the asshole for getting frustrated over the very poor communication among my band members. Communication. Band members need to have communication. That's when things fall apart if it's lacking. Should like band members take a mandatory like communications class, like like group therapy, like at least like one, just to be like, okay guys, okay band members, we know that when we're upset, we're gonna be forefront, and we're not gonna say you did this. We're gonna say I feel hurt. Alright guys, we can do it! Team! Alright, I was not part of this band for very long. I was put out, alright? They said because of my inability to get along with the guitarist who was being impossible. This band was desperate for a keyboardist, so I volunteered to play for them. So when we started practicing, sometimes I would be playing in the wrong key because the guitarist would put a capo on a guitar in order to play a different key, without bothering to tell me which key he was playing in. But whenever I tried to ask which key he was going to play in any given song, he would either ignore me or say, "It's on the sheet." Well, yes, I know it's on the sheet, but you don't always play in the key that is on the sheet. So the guitarist pointed to C2 that he had written on the sheet and said, "Didn't you see C2 on the sheet? That means capo in the 2nd fret, alright?" How many of you are aware that there are no frets on a keyboard and that you don't use capo on a keyboard? I can't believe a professional guitarist that has played in bands for 20 years didn't know that. There is a dog and he is barking. Be quiet, dog, 'cause I'm filming. Okay, so I tried to explain him that capo to the 2nd fret means nothing to a keyboard player, so please tell me what key he is playing in. He said again, "It's on the sheet, capo to the 2nd fret." So since he was not going to bother communicating with me which key he was playing in, I tried asking the other band members which key we were playing the song in. They ignored me and just started playing. So, 20 years, you said, right? Sometimes years in a certain industry builds ignorance and disrespect. So then I pulled out a whistle and blew it, and then said, "What key are we playing in, please?" Only to be told, "It's on the sheet." So when I said, but the guitarist doesn't always play what's on the sheet, they said, "Oh, that's because he's using a capo." Yes, we already know. Then the guitarist shook his head and said, "You don't know music theory, do you?" Which, actually, no, I never studied it. I just played keyboard. I didn't have a degree in it. So, of course, I got frustrated and raised my voice. I'm not sure who wouldn't have raised their voice at that point. All I wanted was to be told what key the song was being played in, so I don't play the wrong one. I don't think that's too much to ask. And then I was asked to leave the band because you can't get along with the guitarist, and that's important. So, am I the asshole for having the audacity to want to be told what key we're supposed to be playing in any given song, which is not necessarily what's on the sheet because the guitarist is using a capo? Am I the asshole for having the audacity to want to be communicated with and not be ignored when I ask what I thought was a very important question? Alright, so here are my thoughts. I am going to say that, from what I've gathered, I want to say that you are not the asshole. And their behavior is pretty dickish, pretty asshole-ish. But I feel like the main issue here is the band and you are on different wavelengths. You are on keyboard and not degree, no music theory, and they are 20 years in. They already got what's going on. They use music theory and they use tablature, and you probably don't because you are a keyboard artist. Definitely there needs to be communication. I just feel like you guys are just not going to get it. They could find another keyboardist if they really want to. Alright, first comment is by OP, so just for the record, the band still doesn't have a keyboardist. They're constantly advertising for one, and I know exactly why. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, if they really want one, let them keep searching. Like, a keyboard artist is not going to understand what are the chords in capo. I don't even know that yet, because I don't have a capo. You see my guitar, there's no capo on it, obviously. So, yeah. I think to make life easier for these band members, they might have to learn a new trick at their old dog age, and that is helping a keyboardist out. I think maybe the guitarist doesn't understand the question. Is it possible he doesn't know which key? Probably. Maybe he's just using, maybe he's just playing by ear. I remember the first time someone handed me a fret note, and I got confused because I was used to reading sheet music. Yeah, when it comes to, guitars and, keyboards, it's, the way that they're, written out, if I'm correct about this, it's kind of like reading two different languages. Because, I mean, you could use a music sheet for guitar notes, but tablature is just so well known and simpler and easier. So we just go on to tablatures. I know he didn't know what key either, and instead of admitting that he didn't know, he just kept implying that I was the stupid one for not using a capo on a keyboard, I guess. It changes the notes on the guitar without tuning it, I guess. I don't know. I don't have a capo yet, can you see? But, you can't do that on a keyboard. Alright, not the asshole. I want to say not the asshole. Plain and simple, they're not the asshole. Alright, story number 3. By ordinary ad 15. Am I the asshole for wearing a bikini to a music festival without discussing it with my boyfriend first? Hold up. Everybody freeze! What do I think about this? So far, before even reading the story first, what do I think about this? Ultimately, if you didn't have a boyfriend, it wouldn't even matter. Your body, your choice, and I don't care what that guy says. And dudes tend to be more oh, she's my girl now. So I kind of have a say in it. And some people could agree with that, some people won't. And you don't have to agree when it comes to you and your body. You don't have to abide by those social rules if you don't want to, because it's your body. So ultimately, you have the say. You have the say. I'm not going to say you have the final say. You have the say. Alright, I, 23 female, went to a large music festival with some friends and my boyfriend last weekend. On Friday, it was extremely hot out. I'm sure you all know how some people dress at festivals, but I decided to just wear a bikini. It wasn't a thong, but a decent portion of my ass was out. Oops. Hey man, like I said before. Hey man, it's cool. I should also say my boyfriend and I have been together for 4 years. He plays football and is a right guard, and he's a bit of a bigger dude. I am pretty petite. I know sometimes he gets insecure because sometimes people make fun of him and tease him and say I'm out of his league or that I could get a more conventional hot guy. But I love him. He's also very gentle and never gets to the point where he raises his voice when mad. So far, you guys are cute. But insecurity, that must be highlighted. However, still, you shouldn't get mad at your girlfriend based on your insecurity. That's called redirected anger. That's usually used for dog training, but I don't use it for this term now. So he has his insecurities and he needs to work on them, but that doesn't mean, when you're working on it, that doesn't mean at all about, hey, I'm gonna control my girlfriend now and what she wears because I'm insecure. No, you do not put your insecurities onto somebody's actions. You must put it back to yourself. You must tell yourself, hey, I'm insecure because I feel like more dudes are gonna look at my girl. But I am okay about it. I'm secure because she loves me. So it shouldn't matter what any other guy thinks, as long as what she thinks, and I am happy that we both love each other and there's really nobody else, and I should always remind myself that. That is how he should direct his insecurities, not controlling somebody else. Yesterday, I was at his place and going to just try to summarize what he said. Babe, I love you, and you know that, but honestly, I wish you would have at least discussed wearing a bikini to the festival with me beforehand. I'm just saying, you need my permission when you're wearing something that revealing. And I see you guys staring at you. It makes me more insecure than I already am, and start to think that you could get someone much hotter than me. I just wish we had a conversation beforehand about this, because I was very caught off guard and it did make me uncomfortable. And I just think when you're dating somebody, you need to be cautious of how they feel. Again, not saying I would have forbid it or anything, but I really wish you talked to me first. I think that's okay. He's not saying that asking permission, and he's not saying that to forbid. He just wanted a talking to, and honestly, I think that is good. That's a good in between, good common ground. If you are aware that he's insecure about these things, maybe hey, I'm going to wear a bikini, okay? Cool, got it. We're good. He could still very well feel insecure about that, but at least he's aware and not caught off guard about it. Yeah, I feel like this is okay. He just wanted to know this beforehand. He didn't want to get caught off guard. I'm starting to think he might be right. I mean, we've been together for 4 years and I should know him. I've seen him shut down a little if I wear a really high crop top or something, or if I'm wearing that bikini around other people. So part of me feels like I'm an asshole because I know how he is, and maybe I was being selfish to not even think about what he might be thinking. We are fine now, but I'm just worrying. I think that's what JW means. I'm just worrying. Alright, let's see what the comment says. Let's see if I'm wrong. Nah, I give him credit for talking to you about how it made him feel. I don't think it was controlling, as he acknowledged it was awkward to ask, and he seems like he wants to find a balance. Okay. I think the diff with a beach and a festival is how much you dance around at a festival, and bikini isn't usually active wear. It bothered him, and he told you. You both just need to find a balance for his and your comfort. OP, he did say a beach is one thing and this is another. Somebody else commented, why is it different? Because of water and sand? Because there are men at both places? I don't see what the difference is. Maybe that's just me. Okay, yeah, me too. I don't really see a difference. Like, you're gonna bounce around both places, like jumping around in the water because it's cold. Quite cold. Or like hitting volleyball, or like in the festival dancing to some music. You're probably gonna be bouncing around in both. I don't see a difference in that either. Somebody else? Nah, you both did a good job communicating. I feel like we rarely see that here. Somebody else said nah. Why is everybody saying nah? I thought it's like not the asshole or whatever. Am I on the asshole or somebody? Yes, I am. So what's going on? You seem like you genuinely care, and your boyfriend went about speaking to you in exactly the right way. Sounds like a really healthy relationship, honestly. Dude, a gentle giant being a good communicator? Okay, I would say you could apologize if you feel the need to, although you're not necessarily in the wrong, but more than anything, just keep in mind that in the future, ask him, I wouldn't say, just inform him. Ask him what he thinks of your outfits, and just let him know you love him. What more could a guy ask for? But yeah, just inform him, you know? We're all on the same page. Not the asshole. Good job for him for being able to identify his insecurities and communicate that. But that also comes with the responsibility that he has to be the one that works on it and fix it so it doesn't negatively affect his partner. You don't owe anyone an explanation for what you decide to wear. Communication is good, and if you want to help him get over his insecurities, that is a big plus, but you still retain the freedom to be. Yeah, she could apologize, but there is no need. It's super unnecessary. Alright, happy ending for that one. Alright, this one is by Deleted. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is really long. I think this has to be its own thing. Or honestly, the stories so far have been pretty quick, so... Okay, story 4, and probably the last story today that we could cover because it's going to be like a novel's worth long of a story. This one's by Worried Seesaw 2783. Yeah, I can see you're worried, bro. Am I the asshole for removing myself from my music duo with my brother-in-law and refusing to discuss this conversation between him and I with my sister? What? Okay, damn. And not even discuss it any further? Damn. What did he do? I'm assuming. Or what did you do that's so appalling you can't discuss it further? Throwaway count! Because I'm not sure if any of the people involved in this have their own accounts, and I just need an outside opinion looking at the situation entirety. And apologies for the long post in advance. Thanks. Thank you, I guess. Thank you for the apology. I just want to make sure I'm not leaving out any details to the situation. What happened? What happened to be able to create such a novel like this? Oh my god. And a brother-in-law? Okay. Interesting band formation. It's like LMFAO, where an uncle and his nephew. Okay. My 29 female, you, brother-in-law, 30 male, we'll call him Bill, and I started an acoustic cover music duo together over the summer. This started when Bill was approached by his own sister if he would like to play guitar at the winery she works at because they were looking for new events to bring people in. He didn't want to perform alone, so he reached out to me because he knew that I sang. I didn't think much of it. I thought we'd perform a handful of shows and that would be the end of it. At first, I was kind of excited because 1, I'm not super close to Bill, sister and I don't have the closest relationship either and don't get along very well, and I thought this was something fun to work on together. And 2, I haven't done any public performances in quite some time and thought this would be a great creative outlet for me. This is where we probably should have discussed the vision and future of the whole acoustic duo. Yes, that's the first thing you do. I don't know what they were thinking. But again, I really thought we'd only perform a handful of shows and that would be it. That's what you were thinking. I guess this is where the saying, if you assume something, anything, it makes an ass out of you and me. Holds true. Before our first show, he already was scoring through Facebook Marketplace for sound equipment. I had expressed to him at this point that I didn't think it was necessary because we haven't even performed yet. I wanted to wait to see how things would go. Then he found a Fender amplifier, 2 hours away for $200 that would allow us to plug his guitar and microphones into. Chill. It's a really good deal for us. I don't know anything about sound equipment, haven't done any research, but I don't know what else to do. So I say if he thinks it's worth it, I guess he can pick it up. He goes and picks up the amplifier. I feel obligated to chip in since I'm part of this, so I pay for half of it, along with the cost of the mic stand, mics, and mic covers. He also bought a cheap tablet to read music from. Chill. This is also where my sister, 27 female, started getting involved in the group chat between my sister, Bill, and myself, which was originally just a chat about anything and everything that we use to shoot the shit with each other. They started discussing band names that the two of them had generated in ChatGPT. Having a background in art, she also created a logo for us to put on a poster and share with the venue, as well as on the mic stand, so people could see who we are. She does not participate in music activities otherwise. Our first show was underwhelming, to say the least. We performed okay. Our audience was our family members, and the only tips we received were from them. On top of that, a customer that was entering a winery through the door that we set up by thought that he had been interrupting something. Well, I don't want to sound ungrateful by any means. You have to start somewhere, but I guess in that moment, I kind of felt like a little kid in the living room trying to put on a talent show for my parents. Yeah, it's kind of that vibe. After the show, Bill asked me how I thought of the show. I told him exactly that. He blamed it on the fact that the winery was not advertising us. The area they had us set up in was not ideal, etc. Then, the Facebook page launches. To start promoting our second show with the winery, again, probably should have had a conversation about this whole thing at this point, but once they launched the Facebook page, it was kind of a grin and bear it moment where I thought, I guess I'm here along for the ride. As I had no involvement in creating the page, we have our second show. Same results as the first. This venue is also an hour and 15 minutes drive from where I live, so getting paid for $30 from the owner basically would cover gas. And that was about it. We discussed how it went, and after I expressed the same thing again, he once again blamed the winery for not advertising our show. I honestly don't care, because I'm thinking we're only going to do like a handful more, and that'll be the end of it. Alright, Bill starts this massive local venue search to find gigs for us, and starts pushing me to do the same, to the point where he required me to bring my laptop to one for our practices so he could check to make sure I was contacting venues. We don't have much luck, which again, I honestly don't care. To me, this was a fun hobby where I get to do something I enjoy, but possibly make a little money on the side. He's striking out with every venue he talks to. I come across this local Christmas tree farm where I live, mention to him that he kind of dismisses, thinking they probably won't be interested, but I could try reaching out. I like to think my customer service background helps here. I make an instant connection with the owners, and they set up a meeting to discuss the possibility of live music with them. It would be their first season incorporating live music, and the owners are particular about who they bring into their community and business because they want good, wholesome, quality people. I feel like that just comes with the territory. We don't even audition for them. It's a casual conversation in the owner's kitchen over some beers. Meeting goes well and we make a deal of 150 3-hour show we perform. 1-2 shows per weekend, and their business is open from Thanksgiving to Christmas. I'm ecstatic to connect with these people in general, and it's the only paid gig we've had at this point. I get this weird sense that it bothers Bill that I found this business and set up this deal for us, and he didn't. I can't explain why. All I can say is I can sense it. We usually got that sixth sense, you know? And I think I know why Bill feels a little iffed, because he didn't get it himself. Eventually, Bill finds a local smoothie shop in his hometown and a seasonal festival going on one weekend. Smoothie shop would not be able to pay us because they're non-profit, but we can set out a tip jar for some reason. My brother-in-law has this idea that we're going to make a ton of tips that will make up for the fact that we didn't get paid. This show also happened to be the weekend after my sister was due to give birth to their son. Well, I didn't know that part. I said I was okay with it, but was more concerned about my sister and her thoughts on it. Sam also seemed somewhat hesitant. We both were gently trying to tell Bill it was possible for the baby to be born late, to which he responded, Nah, I have a feeling that he's going to be born on time. What the actual fuck? I even messaged her privately if she was okay with it, and she told me that if the baby did deliver that week, they could always cancel because performing for this venue was basically like community service. Her words, not mine. My nephew was born 3 weeks early, while my husband and I were on our honeymoon out of state. As soon as we returned, we're exhausted from a less than ideal delay during our travel back. We're trying to catch up around the house, and I'm immediately jumped into a program at work that requires me to not be on my phone. Bill reaches out and in that chat with me and my sister. 3 days after my sister gives birth, on the day that we're supposed to technically practice. Hey, safe to say, we're not practicing tonight. Would you be available this weekend? And you could also meet your nephew. Maybe I took this the wrong way, but I didn't love the practice was being prioritized over meeting my nephew. Preview this message, but I'm so busy, overtired, and overstimulated, I don't respond. The next day, he messages, "Hi Amanda, please let me know what the plan is for the weekend." My sister messages 3 hours later, "Amanda, please let us know." My response, "Hi, husband and I would be happy to meet nephew this weekend. Could we practice next week instead? I'd rather just get to spend time meeting nephew." Bill, I'm worried we won't be ready by the show if we don't get at least a good couple of practices in. Let me know if you're still interested in this and confident it can happen. Otherwise, I can cancel now and give them notice. I'd be pretty disappointed but want to be transparent with the venue. The music was going to be the same that we performed at the winery, so I don't really see this was a big deal, and the thought of me running through a 3 to 4 hour practice of music that we already established and practiced was the last thing I wanted to do, and trying to catch up on my life coming back from my honeymoon. I retaliated. I was fairly confident in that it was just going to be a catching up practice. I wanted the weekend to just be me meeting my nephew, and to have a practice the following weekend. Well, we need a new set list. I start a new job next week. He quit his job 6 months prior because the last job he worked at for 3 months was not going the way he wanted, and everybody he worked with was an asshole, so he had been unemployed up until now. So I don't know what my schedule is going to look like. We didn't have a set list the last time. We just went down the music in order it was arranged during the winery shows. Why would we now need a set list? Around this time, I had mentioned that the Christmas Tree Farm was going to be having a prop-up Christmas tree craft sale the weekend after the coffee shop, and then I thought it would be a good idea to go for a technical run-through. This was met with every objection in the book. Well, they're not going to pay for this show, and moving forward, you wanted to get paid, but they already agreed to pay for 6 to 8 shows between Thanksgiving and Christmas, with potential to be an exclusive music vendor for the wedding venue that they also own. They don't have room inside the shop, so I'm not setting up outside on a tiny porch or out in the dirt. Can't throw down a tarp or some cardboard. I also have really poor circulation, and we don't know what the weather is going to be like, even though he knew we'd be performing in a heated tent come December and October, and October is not that cold where we live. We don't have anything prepared to perform, but we can't just run through the music we perform at the winery that we already know. He turns down the Christmas pre-sale event, and I had to go back to the owners and decline. I guess you could say that he doesn't play well with others, because outside the music duo, he has quit a handful of jobs due to people being assholes, or the job not being what it was in the description. This is where I'm starting to realize we view this entire thing differently. Bill and my sister are coming up with marketing strategies, trying to run our performances into business, trying to acquire venues, and I'm not as invested. I'm there to sing, make a little money, and have fun. I'm a realist about this whole thing. I know damn well that he and I are never going to be popular or in demand as a music provider, being a brother-in-law and a sister acoustic cover duo. This space is competitive, and in all honesty, we're mediocre at best. But for some reason, Bill is making this duo his dream, as though he wants to make this business a full-time project. We go to meet our nephew that weekend, and he doesn't say a word about practicing. He contacts me the next day, requesting an emergency meeting the following day to discuss band problems, where I was berated for my lack of communication and willingness to practice music. One day! She didn't want to practice for 1 day because I guess a girl can't be tired. This is where I made a mistake of pointing out that my sister was postpartum. I was concerned about her well-being, and that between this and her new job, I didn't think it was smart to continue with the show that we weren't even getting paid for. Instantly torn to shreds by Bill and told my communication skills are garbage. I'm just exhausted from arguing with him, and we finally agreed to a practice. Sounds like he just, like, exhausted you to the point where you were like, fine, let's fucking practice. God damn it. And I'm gonna have to say, that is, a tactic of exhausting people. That's a tactic that narcissists use, but I'm not saying he is just yet. I don't know him. People could be narcissistic or have narcissistic like tendencies and not be fully narcissistic. So far, I'm seeing 2. 3. Overly controlling, thinking that everybody else is the problem and assholes and not him. And then berating somebody for being human, actually 4. And then exhausting somebody so then you could get what you want. Ooh, 4. I'm starting to see why she never bothered telling them why she left the band. Alright, I found out I'm 6 weeks pregnant before this show at the smoothie shop, but still haven't told anyone. A few days before the show, I'm expecting that we are going to be set up outside on the patio where the local festival is partaking, and he informs me that we've set up inside. The show day arrives with minimal customers and hardly any traffic. There's a guitar set up outside during the festival, but we were not allowed because the smoothie shop didn't get permission to have us set up outside. I'm not gonna lie, I'm irritated at this point because Bill never communicated any of these details to me until 3 days before the show. This feels like a waste of energy and time. While the venue was nice and the owners were very sweet, I couldn't help but sit there fuming by how much time I spent practicing music. Here was I, performing for free in the smoothie shop, given this idea from Bill that there was going to be a ton of traffic from the festival and then a huge opportunity for tips, and the only tip we made was from our parents. And once again, for the 3rd time, it was incredibly underwhelming and embarrassing. Okay, let me be devil's advocate for a second. It's only been 3 shows. Okay, now let me no longer be devil's advocate. Gosh, consistent underwhelmingness right here. Interesting. Bill decides after this show that we are going to audition a male vocalist. We'll call him Axel to join our group. This was a lead vocalist in the 80s cover band Bill had also participated in before Bill quit and basically destroyed the band. We'll get into that in a little bit. This guy saw that Bill and I were doing something and was looking to continue singing and asked if he could join us. I wanted to be clear, I really had nothing against Axel for him joining us. My issue was that after auditioning, Bill started immediately including him in all the Christmas music that was lined up for the Christmas tree farm, which we had not discussed. I thought he would be joining us after the Christmas shows. When Axel leaves, I asked Bill what I'm supposed to tell the owners of the tree farm, and the original agreement was that Bill and I were going to be performing and we were getting paid $150 per show. I don't understand why, but my sister decided to join us at this point in the conversation with Bill. And both made comments like, wow, you're getting paid that much? That's a lot. Do you think that there's enough for splitting it 3 ways? I reminded him that the owners were intentional about who they brought on to their farm, and they met with us in person to get a feel for us, who we were and what we were about. Axel had not been part of that discussion. The owners had not met him, but Bill proceeded to tell me that the meeting was weird in the first place, not having to audition any music for them. It shouldn't be an issue to add 1 person. If they have a problem with that, then there is an issue, and that I should ask them for $225, but if they push back, we'll stick with the $150. I had a nice phone conversation with one of the owners regarding something else, but used this as an opportunity to mention that Bill decided to add a male vocalist to her performance. I made the decision to call that because Axel was not part of the original agreement and that they never met. I was not going to be asking for more money, and the owners were very appreciative of this. They weren't upset that the decision was made to add a male vocalist, but I could tell that they had preferred meeting him and vetting him out during our initial meeting. When I shared this discussion with Bill, I was torn to shreds for not asking for more money. Our second practice with Axel, he texted he was going to be there 15 minutes late because he was dealing with a mouse problem at home. At this point, I am 8 weeks pregnant and plan on sharing the news before Axel got there with Bill and sister. Husband and I were busy prior to the practice between going to church and errands, so I decided to pick up lunch on the way to their house, where we practice. I show up on time, share the news with them, and mention that I picked up food because I didn't have time, and now being pregnant when I need to eat. I gotta eat. Axel shows up, hungover, I might add from a college football game the day prior. Bill offers to practice Christmas songs. I'm not singing with him on while I eat. I come up to the practice room after 20 minutes. Practice is rough, to say the least. There wasn't really a discussion the previous practice that we should focus on, and Bill chose a ton of pop songs that neither Axel nor I were familiar with. 70-80% of our set list had been songs Bill chose before I started adding to it, which were more of the classic Christmas songs. When I leave, I come home to a text that Bill was severely disappointed in how much time had spent wasting during our practice. A pregnant woman's gotta eat. 20 minutes, dude. 20 minutes. Wasn't your wife pregnant? Don't you know that? And if we can't commit, or we need to eat, pointed at me because I ate before practice, blood boiling at this point, or have other things to do, we need to say it now and communicate with him. Girl, you don't even communicate yourself. Axel is quickly apologetic. Okay, at least it's not just solely pointed on OP and says it won't happen again. And I get snippy about the eating comment and remind him that I am 8 weeks pregnant and needed to eat. I also close this as an opportunity to point out that the hypocrisy of his actions from the prior week. Axel and I had to wait 20 minutes for Bill. Why? Because his dog decided to roll in the goose poop. The dog needed to get cleaned up, and their newborn son was also fussing while all this was going on. My sister is in the bathroom, bathing the dog. Meanwhile, I keep running over to the nursery trying to soothe my nephew with his pacifier that he keeps losing. Bill knocks on the bathroom door to let my sister know that their son is fussing and crying while she's in the middle of bathing their dog. I need to set up to practice. He sets up the room we practice in because it's a mess. Axel and I did not complain once about this. Bringing this up infuriated him, and he told me that the situations were not even comparable. Oh my god! I forgot narcissists are the goddamn worst. If they are unaware and they have this much problems going on and they refuse to acknowledge it, which is most narcissists, but sometimes they acknowledge it and they become better people. But anyway, oh my god, dude, he's the worst. And I have 19 more paragraphs to read about it. I had a conversation about several of these things with Bill over the phone. Ultimately, it ended with me asking if moving forward he would rather work with Axel in the future instead of me. To which he said, well, I don't know, but Axel never caused this many problems when we were in that previous band together. I tell him I like to take a break after Christmas shows because if he'd rather work with Axel, he should, and it wasn't a problem with me. Bill asked if I was so miserable I wasn't going to be able to keep it together for the Christmas shows. I told him I would be an adult about it, and it's not going to be a problem. He thanks me for being honest and goes on to tell me that being in the band is probably much harder than I probably thought, and how much work it truly is, so he respects my decision. Ignoring that, we concluded the call. We have another practice, no issues. This past week, one of the owners reached out to me asking for a sign, logo, or some form of advertising that they could use to advertise that we would be performing on the farm. They also asked for our schedule availability to lock down weekends that we would be performing. I sent over the schedule request to the group text between Axel and Bill. I reached out to my sister directly that the owner is asking for and asked for a file of our band logo. She says that she can't get to it that evening, but will get to it soon. She asked what context it was going to be used for and what file types were needed. We couldn't use past posters since they were specifically designed for the winery, and asked if we needed a new poster design. I explained again, it doesn't even need to be an updated poster. Owner just asked for like a sign or a logo so that they could start advertising. We don't need to create more work than needed because a logo would work just fine. Most of the advertising from the farm does is via Facebook. It's while conversing, I realized I could just save a logo from the band's Facebook page and send it to the owner. I think that I'm saving my sister some time and stress for being postpartum. I send this over to the group text, asking them if it's okay that I send over the logo to the owner to use for advertising. It was pretty general, didn't have any photos of us, and after all, it was just a logo. Axel was fine with it. Bill didn't respond yet. Thinking Axel and I are on the same page, even if Bill disagrees, it's 2 against 1. Yeah, even if it is, which is, pretty democratic. This is Bill we're talking about here. I sent over saved logo image from Facebook to the owner. However, I also let my sister know what I just did and I send that saved logo image from Facebook to the owner, and this is where it goes downhill. Sister responds, please don't in the future. I prefer they not run with it and DIY something. I like to have our materials cohesive and have the Instagram and Facebook info on posters, etc. This was only produced for an intermediate cover photo. Me, all I did was send her a logo. I didn't share any of the materials. Sister, yes, I don't have control over what she does with it now. Me, I told her you were going to work on a new poster. Sister, please communicate to her that we are going to share a poster this week with her. Thank you. FYI, type the size and also matter. So if it were just a download of a Facebook or something, it won't scale well. That's another reason I appreciate if you could allow me to share the native files. I'm confused. While I respect and appreciate my sister's creating a band logo for us, why is my sister, who does not contribute any music to this now evolved trio, has such a vested interest and is acting as like a stakeholder in our group? There's no watermark or anything on the logo. Nothing saying that the logo belongs only to her. There was never a conversation beginning about her being our marketing manager. I can tell that she told her husband because all of a sudden he furiously responded to the chat between Axel and I. He asked that I not send any of the materials to the owner as my sister will be producing a new poster. Again, it didn't have to be a poster. It could just be a logo for the Christmas tree farm to use for marketing, since they didn't have a proper marketing team. I told him that I shared the logo with the owner, but that my sister would be preparing a poster as well, and he lost it. And I found out some other interesting information. Axel responds, oh god, this is what broke up our original band. Further than lies, lol. What does that mean? Further than lies, lol. Anyway, what? I messaged Axel on the side. What I come to find out is when my sister created a band logo for the band Bill was in, they did something very similar and shared the logo for the event on their Facebook page without his or my sister's permission. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I would think once you create a logo for a band or a business, that's the end of it and they can do whatever they want with it from there on out. Also, keep in mind, my sister was doing all of this for free in her own time. For fun. Bill confronted the owner of the band about it. It got nasty, and the owner told him to know his place, and Bill didn't have a say in the matter because it was a band's logo to use. This spiraled into a band drama, and Bill leaving the band, and the band falling apart after he left. They connected after, rebuilt the band, and are back to performing now. While it's none of our family's business, Bill's story was that the band members were all assholes and he needed to get out. While I'm finding all this out, I disclosed to Axel what the last month and a half has been while working with him. He starts questioning whether or not he really wants to be involved and says he may only get through the Christmas show and leave because he doesn't need this BS in his life. Nobody does. But he liked to try to make it work because it was the one hobby that he enjoys. Axel is trying to clear things up in the group chat and says everything's all good. We're going to get them a brand new band poster. Bill is not having it and is not backing down. Bill, why would you do that? What was even the point of asking the group if you're not going to wait for my input? Who does that? I tried to reiterate the fact that the owner asked for a logo, poster, or anything we had, and I was trying to get an answer the same day, along with our schedule for performing. He kept saying, the question is at hand, and still stands. Why would you do that? At this point, I'm incredibly fed up. I'm tired of constantly being wronged and getting berated, yelled at, and ridiculed by Bill. I responded, Bill, you can handle the communication with the owner from now on. I'm not gonna play middleman anymore. I'm done. Bill, well, that's fine, because I wanted to lead the communications with them anyways. He asked for the owner's contact info, and I sent it. I reached out to the owner and informed them that Bill wants to be the main point of contact, and he will be following up with her shortly. Okay, he basically restarts the entire conversation, gather our schedules and availability, sent to the client, and has my sister create a new marketing poster that evening. Aside from him being really terrible and like pushing his postpartum wife to do something that she said that she'll do later. This is so unprofessional. The next day, he sent screenshots of the owner thanking him for our schedule and availability, along with the poster my sister had created for, and the owner saying it looks great. Didn't my wife do such an amazing job on the poster? I think it turned out great. I'm bitter at this point because of how things are going, but I'm not that impressed with the poster, and I think we still could have been fine with just using our logo. He also insists that the following practice we're going to make a Facebook post about introducing our newest vocalist and we need to get a group photo, which, in my opinion, is pointless if I'm going to be removing myself from this whole thing. I spend the next 2 days crying and upset because of how conversations have been going with Bill. He's as argumentative as a lawyer. He's vindictive, and whatever I say to him is not valid. Everything I say is an excuse, and all I do is point fingers and cause problems. After talking through everything with my husband, I make the decision to schedule a call with Bill to remove myself from the Christmas shows altogether. I feel like the shows are just not gonna come and just gonna be constant this. I'm approaching 10 weeks of pregnancy. I don't need the added stress, and I'm tired getting berated all the time. We are a little under 4 weeks from the first Christmas show. The phone call goes as you would expect. I get right to the point and explain that things have not gone better between him and I. There was never a breakdown from the beginning of who has ownership of what task when this whole thing even started. And truth be told, there was never even a discussion about starting or launching ourselves as a music duo. We both had different ideas of where the direction of our duo, and we were not aligned. It was causing too much stress and anxiety, and ultimately I needed to remove myself. He goes quiet for a minute, and immediately starts blaming me for my lack of horrible communication. You said you were going to be an adult about this, and now you're backing out of commitment? You know, this sounds like a lot of TikToker stories, honestly. Actually, what if a lot of TikTokers are just narcissists and don't see the actual problem? Shut the fuck up, motorcycle! I think it worked. I'm berated, as usual, over the phone, but I told him things haven't changed since the last conversation we had about taking a break after the Christmas shows, and I need to do what's best for myself. I also told him that the new poster that was created was generic enough. It didn't have my name or face on it, only the band name and the dates we would be playing at the Christmas tree farm. It would also go back to being a duo, Axel and Bill, even though Axel is thinking about quitting too, which is what the owners originally agreed to in the first place, and they will get more money that way instead of splitting it 3 ways. Bill tells me that my argument was stupid. Okay, says no to more money. Okay, what the? I think he just wants to, like, prove a point. And he's like, no, you're bad, oh, more money. No, you're bad. Was stupid and not valid. I keep trying to reiterate my point, but I ended up crying on the phone saying this was supposed to be just a fun hobby with Bill, where we make a little money, but it is no longer the case. Bill says in a nasty tone that it's no longer my problem anyways, and now he's got to figure out what to do, hanging up the phone. I'm sorry, OP, but no matter what you say to somebody like that, none of that's going through his ears. None of that is going through his head. You're arguing with a doll that has the same rewind voice box, and will only just keep saying that. That's what you're arguing with. I just think we don't have the spark. There's a snake in my boot. Like, I think we need to change things. There's a snake in my boot. As upset as I was, I've never felt so relieved in my life. I'm really happy about that. Do you have any idea how good I slept with that weight off my shoulders? I hope you were sleeping like you were on a cloud. The owner reached out to me to talk about something unrelated to the music, but I took this as the opportunity to tell him that I had removed myself and would not be performing at the Christmas shows. I didn't want to get too into the weeds, but I explained I was 10 weeks pregnant and shared some details about what had been happening between Bill and I behind the scenes. It was causing stress and anxiety, and I needed to remove myself. As disappointed as they were so kind and understanding about the situation, and actually sensed something was going on behind the scenes from some of Bill's actions and the way he had started communicating with them. Yeah, I mean, I feel like somebody like this, like how Bill is and how riled up he is right now, like, you can really sense a narcissist, but when they're at this stage, the red flags are going off. Oh, I maybe should put a epilepsy warning. I felt seen. I'm not the only one that sees Bill's poor behavior. Owner said that Bill did not contact them regarding the whole situation, and the conversation would be kept between herself and I. She would wait to hear from Bill whether or not he wanted to resume the shows. My mom, who knows what's been going on this whole time, thinks I should tell Bill. I spoke to the owners, but I disagreed. Bill wanted ownership of the communication with the owners. He took that responsibility upon himself. I didn't owe him anything at this point. Conversations with my sister seemed to appear to be normal. I shared an ultrasound video of her. We talked about pregnancies, etc. I asked her if she wanted to get pizza during the week with 2 of our cousins. And once again, the drama starts. Sister, I would like to talk to you about your conversation and your quitting the music group. Me. Sam, that was a conversation between Bill and I. Why do you and I need to talk about the music group? If this has to do with the logo, I thought I apologized to you. If I didn't, I'm sorry. I am. The owners wanted a logo. I chatted with Mom about it, and she was the one who suggested saving the image from Facebook and sending it to them. I didn't know it causes problems saving and downloading it, and I'm sorry for assuming this, and I thought I was saving you the burden and the stress of creating an entirely new poster. I shouldn't have assumed that, but it was just a logo. I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. Sister, I'm not doing this over text. I will talk to you face to face. Me. I'm not talking to you about the music group. You want to talk about the logo? We can talk about that. Sister, okay, well, we have things to talk about though. Things that impact me and my husband. I'm asking you if you'll have a conversation with me, but this is your choice. Me. I'm not understanding how the music group impacted you or how me removing myself from the group impacted you. I'm really not trying to be rude. I'm trying to understand. If this is about the equipment, I paid for my portion of it. Can you just explain how this impacts you personally? I'm trying to understand. Sister, I'm not doing this over text. It's actually not about the logo. I'm not going to discuss the music group with you. That was between Bill and I, and it will stay that way. You want to talk to me about anything else? I am down. I intentionally started contacting Bill directly over text regarding anything pertaining to the music group instead of the chat with you, Bill and I. I reached out to you directly because we created the logo and I wanted to copy of the file until I got the idea to download it from Facebook. Again, you want to talk and catch up? We could do that anytime. But that conversation stays between him and I. Sister, we have things going on that we have to discuss and resolve to move forward here. It's bigger than any one small thing. I'm not going to just sweep this under the rug like everything is fine until you and I have an adult conversation face to face. I don't consider things cool, and all of our relationships matter, and my husband's well-being matters to me very much. I will not be texting you back and forth. When you are ready to talk face to face, I would like to discuss. Me. One needs to be resolved between you and I. Like, seriously, come on guys, get to the point. We're not going to have a conversation about it. You don't think things are cool, and I understand that. Also, just going to point out here that my husband is getting himself involved in the situation. Sister, well, that's unfortunate that you have decided that and feel that way. Man, I don't want to talk like this to my siblings when they get older. Sister and Bill are entitled to their feelings. They have the right to feel angry and upset. I'm sure my sister feels caught in the middle between us and wants to be supportive of her husband's dreams. But I can't wrap my head around this conversation and how this music group that originally was just Bill and I has any impact on her, or how me leaving the group affected her husband's well-being. It's been about a day and it feels like a standoff at this point. I vented about the entire situation with my parents, who are well aware of Bill's shitty behavior, his control issues, and his awful way of talking to people. My mom, however, is a peacemaker who just wants harmony all the time, which means I'm supposed to just apologize to Bill and continue with this whole music duo situation because it's Bill's dream. No! No! Tired of shit. And I'm just reading it. She told me after visiting my sister yesterday at their house, Bill seemed incredibly sad and depressed because he loves Christmas music and was really looking forward to performing these Christmas songs. He doesn't feel like he can recover enough for the music with Axel to be ready in time. What a switch up. Fine, leave. I want to communicate with them myself. Oh, she's gone. Think things through, maybe? Gosh. Because there were certain songs I was singing solo, or songs that he changed the key in order to fit my vocal range. So sunk cost fallacy then. I told her none of that matters anymore. Bill wanted full control of the music group, and he got what he wanted. I already talked to the owners of the Christmas tree farm and told them I wasn't performing. If Bill wants to pull out of the agreement, he can handle the conversation himself with the owners. And with where things stand, I have no intention of spending Thanksgiving at Bill and sister's house this year, due to the tension and the way Bill has disrespectfully spoken to me so many times. So, do I truly owe Bill an apology? Okay, do I tell him that I already spoke to the owner, that I will not be performing to the music group? Do I really owe my sister a face-to-face meeting to discuss the music group being dismantled and how all this impacts her husband, and our relationships with each other? Do husband and I still attend Thanksgiving at Bill and sister's house amid all the drama? Okay, definitely no on that one. And most importantly, am I the asshole here? Okay, first off, I didn't think I was going to finish this today. It's like I started recording late. Now there's no light outside. So that's how I feel right now. I feel accomplished. Do you owe Bill an apology? Okay, I guess it's my thoughts time. I don't know, I'm just still reeling over this 30 paragraph thing, which I understand why it had to be 30 paragraphs. I mean, when I make an Am I the Asshole post, it's probably gonna be 30 paragraphs too. Okay, do I owe Bill an apology? No, not at all. Not even a little bit. Like the opposite of that. He owes you an apology, and you should feel angered. You need an apology, but you will never get one, and he will never get one, because this is Bill that we're talking about, and he's never going to change, and he's always going to think he's right, and you're never going to get an apology. And even if you give him an apology, which he doesn't deserve, he's going to think that it wouldn't be enough, and then he had to kiss his feet and waddle in your misery, being like, oh, I'm wrong. I need to give you all of my attention and gratitude and appreciation towards you for the next 2 years. Knowing that. Do I tell him that I already spoke to the owner, that I will not be performing to the music group? Don't even talk to him at this point, I swear. Do I owe a face-to-face meeting to discuss the music group being dismantled with my sister? I mean, at the end of the day, she's your sister, so maybe I guess, talk things out a little bit, maybe through Zoom. Just, listen to her side and be like, okay, sister, bye. And then hang up the Zoom call. I don't know. So, I don't know, you were never really close to her to begin with, and, she... is kind of under her husband's spell. You're deaf. Oh, and then the last question. Am I truly the asshole here? What are you saying, dude? No, you're not. What the heck? You're not in the slightest. Okay, comments. TLDR. Unfortunately, I decided to read it. Opie tries to do music duo with Bill. Bill is a control freak, pushing buttons until Opie quits. Opie's sister now wants a face-to-face to hash things out. Mom wants Opie to apologize to Bill. Opie just wants to be left alone. And Opie is also is quite pregnant. Alright, second comment. So, this was a crap ton to impact, not the asshole, for finally leaving, but you are seriously being a major one to yourself. Yeah, you are. Why on earth did you continuously put up with all the drama and your Bill's cruelty? Why did you? I mean, she was just giving him chances because she was like, you know what? Maybe it'll change if I keep communicating, Maybe a little of her mom's getting along together attitude kind of rubbed off on her a little bit, but she remembered who she should look out first, in the end at least. Your sister may choose to stay and deal with him, but you have no reason to. I have never understood the whole keeping the peace concept. There is no peace, just letting someone be cruel to you and be a terrible person. This is enabling their behavior and just makes everything worse. You have a kid coming. Do you really want them growing up thinking the way that Bill treats everybody is okay? Do you truly want them growing up being taught to be a pushover because, oh, family, we should keep the peace? Because I can promise you that as the kid who grew up in that family, I resented all of them, and no contact with them, all because my peace means the most to me. I mean, at some point, you're gonna have to just decide enough is enough, and stand up for yourself and the family you have with your husband. Not the asshole. I got so absorbed in OP's Bill's hysterics that I initially missed the actual point of the post. Your writing style is very engaging. I mean, quite so. OP, you are the asshole, but if you don't keep feeding us the dramatic musical, those stories, you would definitely become one. I don't know what you meant by that. Oh, this last comment. There wasn't a lot of comments. Damn. OP's post only got like 5 comments. Hopefully that was enough for them. Definitely not the asshole. I'm bemused why your sister wants to insert herself into this. You don't need the stress. How does your husband feel about this? I don't know why her sister is getting all up in her grill either. Like, this has nothing to do with her. But, she's married to the guy, so maybe she kind of thinks like the guy. So, ultimately, girl, you're not the asshole, like, at all. Not even one bit, not even a little bit, not even, like, a minuscule bit. And I'm going to say that that is the end of these Reddit stories, music related. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that my change in voice did not really affect the story too well. I got really tired. I've never said this before, and I should start saying it, but like and subscribe? Share what you think down below, because I want to know what you guys think. I don't know why I did that. I want to know what you guys think. And until next time, where I will be redecorating my guitar. I mean, you could see it right now. I'm kind of actually now thinking about it, but like not really, like barely. And like there's more things in the bottom, so like bye.